What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. I broke the Integra, so let's get into that. So thankfully it's probably not how you're thinking. Now the car obviously still runs and drives, but the issue I had was I was going to a car meet a couple weeks ago, and I was just minding my business, wasn't doing nothing crazy. I was just cruising down the road by myself, and I was just rolling through the gears, and I was like going from 5th, and I went to go to 6th. But the issue was the shifter came, but the cable didn't. So that's the issue that I ran into. So you can see we got a little bit of a problem right there. So that's what we're going to be fixing today. And I know the camera's not going to pick them up, but there's like 3 or 4 mosquitoes flying around right here, dude. There's so many of them. I'm so ready for winter, so these things burn in hell where they belong. Yeah, so that's kind of what we got on the agenda today, is fixing the Integra, except I don't have nothing here. And I was able to limp the car home, so I'm confident I'll be able to limp the car down to the shop. It's about a 20-minute drive, so we will see. I kind of had to play Puppet Master to get it home, but one of my buddies that's local here had a set of OEM RSX cables that he was able to spare, so I'm going to go ahead and use these ones instead of those crappy, cheap race ones that I was recommended. So, yeah, let's get down to business and try and get this thing down to the shop. So I think while I'm there, I'm also going to try and add a muffler, because the car, like I mentioned before, is a little too loud for my liking. Maybe I'm just getting old, but the straight pipe 3-inch turbo back, it's a little too throaty for me. So I'm going to tone it down a little bit. I got like a Flowmaster muffler thing that somebody left that was damaged, so I'm just going to repair it, and I'm going to use that. And then depending on if we got time or not, I kind of want to swap on my 92, 93 tail lights, because I'm kind of bored of the 90, 91s. Yeah, I think we'll try and do that, because that's only a couple minutes worth of work, but I can do that here, so we won't bother with that at the moment. But I am getting freaking chewed up by mosquitoes, dude, so I think I'm going to put some pants on, because, dude, this sucks. So I'll see you guys in the car. Alright, so we made it to the freeway. So basically what I can do is, like, the cable wants to fall out because the thread's pulled out of this heim joint here. So what I have to do is I have to like assist the shifter to the threads, and then I can go into first just fine. Second gear is okay, I just got to put a lot of tension to the left. And then third gear is fine. Fourth gear I got to just pull the cable straight back. And then fifth gear I got to assist the shifter to the cable, and then it's fine. And then sixth gear I got to like palm the shifter and fingertip the cable. So like I can do it, it's just super painful. Like not painful, but like pain in the butt. Like that. Well, the good news is we made it down here just fine, so I made sure to come later in the morning because it's almost 10. So that way I can, avoid some of that traffic. Yeah, so the drive obviously wasn't the worst. I can still shift the car. It's just a huge pain in the butt, like I was saying. But basically, I also wanted to make a little intake for the turbo, just so the filter's not sitting right on the turbo, because it doesn't really fit that well because the lines and stuff in the way. So yeah, that's kind of what we got on the agenda. Shifter cables is the main priority. If we can, I got this Flowmaster muffler that one of you guys had brought, or resonator technically, but I'm gonna just make it into a muffler. And I'm gonna see if I can fit this underneath the car, because yeah, it's got a tear in it, but I was just gonna patch that just to quiet it up just a little bit. And then yeah, try and make that little intake. I got the coupler, and I got some extra 4-inch pipe from a previous intake job, so we'll be able to make that really quick. So I'm gonna get this thing in the air, get some water in me, because I am freaking dying, because it is still hot and I'm thirsty. So yeah, let's do that. I finally found my hood prop, so now I just keep it in the back seat because I don't have any of the spots to hold it in the engine bay. But that way when I go to car meets, I don't have to have my hood fall all the time from the wind. And because I get tired of shaking the car around without the hood prop up. And there we go. Now we're like a normal car again. So you can see my filter right there. Basically all I'm trying to do is just bring that more over here. So I only need to put like the coupler and then a couple inches of pipe. I just didn't want the turbo filter sitting all the way on there because this water line kind of rubs it, and that's not going to cause any issues, but you can kind of see back there that it doesn't sit totally flush on the turbo, and it just kind of bothers me. So I'm just going to bring it out just to the shock tower a little bit, and then that'll be all right. So in the meantime, I'm going to let some of this cool off while I eat some breakfast really quick, because I got to obviously get to the shifter cables here, which is fine, but it's just going to be really spicy with having just driven the car. So I got the hatch open right now just so I can get some airflow in the car. And yeah, I'll start taking apart the center console and stuff, because I got to get that out to get the cables out and all that. Then I got to go up with the car after it's all disconnected. So yeah, we'll kind of just get it done. All right, so I do apologize for kind of the port angle, and the lighting is a little off, but you know, I'm working with what I got. I don't have any fancy lights. I need to buy one. So I gotta get this out of the way. So I was looking, and the only cable that's damaged, well, technically my left to right cable is damaged, but it still works. It's just the mounting point, which doesn't affect its usability. So I'm not gonna bother changing that one. I'm just gonna change the, you know, the forward backward cable. So in this case, it's the aftermarket one, so it is the one that does kind of like bolt kind of to the shifter. So I'm gonna just take the whole center console out really quick, because I need access to all of this in here. And if you've never done it, well, mine's slightly different because I don't have everything here. So I just got some Phillips head screws around here. Got to take the kick panel off to access. Got to drop the glove box. There's one up here, and there's like two up here. And yeah, so I'm gonna jump right into that. I gotta have the fan on high right now because, like I mentioned earlier, there's a million mosquitoes. Thankfully, there's not really any here at the shop, knock on wood, but they definitely exist, and I definitely want them to die. You know how badly I wish I could take this thing to Tail of the Dragon next week? Like, that'd be so awesome. When I make it big and famous and stuff, doing this YouTube stuff, Lord willing, you can bet your butt I'm gonna get a truck and a trailer, and then I'm definitely gonna take this thing out there one day. I'd love to take this car and a trailer just around the country and take it to different events and see some awesome roads and meet some really cool people. It's definitely one of the goals, but for now, here I sit in my little humble abode losing screws. Thankfully, the screwdriver tip is magnetic. And I lost it. Sick. So, it's amazing that this stuff even goes together at this point. I've taken this apart so many times, and the plastic is so brittle, it just bewilders me. So it's finally getting into boost season, which means I can finally start driving this thing more, because I mean, despite obviously it being a bit too hot for turbo, it's just unpleasant to drive this car in this heat that we have here in Arizona. So I am definitely looking forward to some cold nights, so that way I can enjoy ripping this thing. One more screw, I think, after this guy. There. And then you guys don't have this, but I do, because I'm a pimp. Secondary glove box. We should be able to take this thing out now. I apologize for any rustling. This lav mic thing is kind of hit my throat. So this is always the hard part, is getting it past the stinking seat, because my seat's in a fixed position, and then getting it past the shifter itself. And then my cup holder acting a fool. It's a multi-step process. There we go. Cool, she out. So this cable style, I think they're 19. It's like a 19 mil wrench thing right here, so I'm gonna go grab that really quick. All right, let's see if the 19 is it. I always forget. I don't do this enough. Well, looks like we are correct. Which way does this rotate though? You'd think lefty loosey, righty tighty, right? Or is there one on the back side? No, there's not. There we go. She just stuck. There we go, perfect. Now we gotta move into the engine bay side, which is pretty simple. There's just a cotter pin that holds it, if I can get to it. I know you guys can't see nothing, but take my word for it. There we go, got some long boy pliers. Try and grab this stupid cotter pin. Oof, this wrench is going to be hard to get in here. Can we though? Oh, hey, we can. Just barely. Oh, sweet. This one was much easier. The other side was like, oh, I spoke too soon. Oh, this is going to be one of those baby turns at a time, ain't it? There we go, I think. Oh, yes. Okay. Making progress. Ever since I boosted this thing, and I know every turbo car I've driven that wasn't stock turbo always kind of smelled like something, like usually like hotter oil. And it's like this thing doesn't leak it, it doesn't burn it, like I don't see any oil stains anywhere, I don't see any smoke when I'm driving, but it just kind of smells like oil. And it paranoids me. So it's kind of hard to see, but I got the cable broken free right here. So now I can go up with the car and I can try and fish that thing out from the hole. You know, I really like these mics because I can be out of frame and you guys can't even see me, but then I can just be like, bam, had him in frame. Yeah, it's pretty dope. And you can hear me the whole time. All right, up and away. Oh, are you looking at me? Is it because I'm wearing the new SD Fab t-shirt? Yeah, these things will be coming pretty soon, like in a couple days for you guys. By the time this video goes up, they should be in a big hotel. But the catch is they're only for a limited time only, so you should probably go and scoop one while you can. They come in two colors, this dope marine, and then we got a classic black. And these are pretty nice shirts, let me tell you. They're nice Gildan, nice tighter fit, they're comfy, they breathe, they all right. I know you guys can't really see it too well, but these are my shifter cables. I got this heat sleeving here, you know, to protect it from that exhaust. So these things are lifesavers. That's why I run it on everything. O2 sensor gets it to protect it from the freaking dump pipe and everything. So yeah. And now we need this cable. So it's gonna be a pain. I'm gonna just drag this sucker down here. Get some tugging leverage, but you know, of course, I'm probably gonna have to go inside and feed it up. And what just dripped on me? It's right there. It's just like barely catching on something. There we go. Trash ass cable. Yeah, here you go. Never buy eBay shifter cables. That should be self-explanatory. But I took the risk so you don't have to. All right, so the only issue with this cable is it's missing the little grommet bushing thing that goes in the focus. That goes in there. So we're gonna have a little bit of shifter slop unless I can come up with something to put in there. I'll have to see if there's like a part number for it, but it at least will work unlike what's in there now. Dude, something's dripping on my dang head, and this car ain't got AC, so I don't know what it is. Oh no, it's fishy. Okay. Okay. So I see the cable there. You need to go up there, sir. All right, now we can fish that up. It should be all right, something like that. Okay, let's drop you back down. Dude, who the hell is playing that outside? That's obnoxious. But yeah, anyway, I'm looking at my oil cooler right here, and it's not leaking. Like, I don't see any oil coming out of the fittings. I'm gonna double check the tightness on them, but like, it's kind of wet. But it's not dripping, but it's like misted, you know? Just enough to catch dirt and debris, so double check that really fast. I just snugged up this one, and it actually was able to snug up a little bit, so maybe it is just a hair loose. Oh yeah, this one's a hair loose as well. That's scary. Okay, cable's good there. Now let's go inside again and hook it up in there. Okay, so go like that. Grab our clip. I don't know, this is a hammer, right? Okay, so that's in place, and now we just attach this. Okay, well, everything's tightened down, so other than that shifter slop front and back a little bit for now, but we'll worry about that later. We got first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and reverse. All right, I'd say we're looking pretty good. I'm gonna just, like I said, lift the car, put my little rubber grommet back in the floor, and then put that heat sleeve around the thing, and then we can move on to the intake. Now we are good for our heat sleeve. There we go. Okay, we're looking solid. All right, cables are all done. So thankfully, this will be an easy job. I may weld on a bung or like a little piece of tube so I can connect the valve cover to it. I haven't fully decided yet, but I think that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, that thing's very tight fit down there. So here is the filter. This is like one of those Edelbrock ones, so it doesn't have the plastic ring inside there because I know the cheaper ones can get sucked in by the turbo. So that one's a little bit better quality. So, look at that. Oh yeah, that'll be perfect. So I'm gonna go ahead, take this off really quick. I can just deburr this. Get the shavings out of the inside, smack those out, and we got ourselves a nice little intake here. So now this side can go inside the filter. Still got to add the clamps, but I'm just verifying fitment. Should be all right though. Perfect. Yeah, that looks minty. Here, let me show you. Looking pretty good, eh? That was about the easiest intake I think I've ever made. So measuring this up really quick, zero it out, and then we'll just go off it right there. So that's 3/4 inch actually, so that's kind of big. So I can get hose like that, but I just don't know if I have any tube like that. So let me check my bin. Something right here. Oof, that should work just fine right here. And before anybody says anything about a catch can, I still do plan on running one. I just don't know where to run it on the K-Series. I know you're not supposed to go from the valve cover to the intake tube like that with the catch can. On the K-Series, in general, from what I understand, you want to go off the PCV valve and stuff, but I just don't know how to route it, because on the K-Series, I don't know if you can see it down here, but the PCV valve is right here. So it's like, I don't know if you're just running vacuum line, or I'm sorry, a line from the PCV to the catch can, and then catch can to the intake port that I have capped off right there, or if you run it somewhere else. So if any of you guys have like legit catch can solutions for K-Series, please let me know in the comments down below, or send me a message on Instagram. It's not like I drive the car enough and I don't beat on it the whole time I'm driving it, so I'm not worried about it hurting anything, and there's not even any oil particles, so I'm really not concerned, but just to be safe, you know. So now we just kind of, see, that's big enough right there, so I just like to go one size up so it rests in slightly. So I'm just go a touch more. That's what I'm talking about. So it doesn't sit on top. It just, you go part way in with the size bigger than you need, and then it gives you a little bit of a ledge to sit in there. So you get a super easy weld joint, and it's also easy because you don't have to like hold it and stuff with a clamp or nothing. You can just tack it and go with the flow. Because we're doing aluminum, we have to swap out to a different cup. So I like to use number 5, and then I also have a more dedicated tungsten for aluminum, just this tiny little guy. It's just, you know, I don't like using my big one, because when you're doing aluminum, it balls up the tungsten, so if you go from steel to aluminum, you always got to sharpen the crap out of your tungsten. So you also don't need as much gas flow, so I don't use this big of a cup. I use a FUPA 12 from Amphiric for my normal steel stuff. And I just use a normal number 5 cup for aluminum. Found this piece of 3/4 inch hose laying around. It fits, but we'll see if it's long enough. Oof. Just long enough, so we're golden. There we go, we're looking pretty darn solid. So, got the hose finally hooked up there to there. I don't even need a clamp because that's not going to go anywhere. Yeah, so if anything, because I have ever since I did the K-swap, but mostly since I've done the turbo, I've always smelled like oil a little bit, and I know it's coming from that port there, probably more than anything. So now, with that being recycled, that should hopefully clean up some of that smell. So the only thing left for me to do on this thing at the moment now is fix up this muffler, or add this muffler resonator piece. So I'm cutting the muffler resonator's ends off really quick, so that way I can start with some fresh metal. I'm going to prep it, and then, yeah, I'm turning the fan away really quick. And then, yeah, so ideally I'm cutting it to the length where I can keep this hanger right here, because I don't want to have to chop that off and make another one, because it's in a good spot. I like it. So, yeah, it's just going to replace this end section here, and it'll be sweet, simple, to the point, nice and easy. So with this piece right there being the main damage area, I'm going to just try and hammer that closed and seal the bead right there. It's going to be tricky because this metal is now worn thin, but I think I got it. So to me it sounds almost no different. I guess I couldn't really expect much coming from a straight through style resonator instead of a muffler. So I mean, I'll find a good 3-inch muffler to put on, and I'll slap something on there. It just needs to be straight through because I don't want to lose any flow or whatever. So whatever, I mean, it'll work for now. I just burned myself for nothing type thing. But I'm gonna go and take this thing home, I suppose, now that it should be driving much more normally. So I was definitely wrong. The muffler actually helped quite a bit, especially when driving. At idle and stuff, it still sounds the same. All you hear is like turbo burble. But the intake sounds so sick. Like, I wish I had a way to stick a GoPro in the engine bay safely to do an audio clip, because like before it was all turbo whistle and stuff, and like as cool as that sounds like it would be, it really didn't sound very good to me, and it honestly kind of hurt my ears. It was just a very high pitch, just like whistling all the time. And then it sounded pretty cool when you would let off, because the blow-off valve gets drowned out by the flutter because the anti-surge compressor. But now with the intake, it sounds more like actual turbo car. Like when you hear a turbo like 240 or something, like that type thing. That's what it sounds like now. It sounds really good. I'm stoked. But I realize now that this car needs an alignment, because it's pulling pretty good to the left for some reason. And it's probably just because I put the smaller wheels and tires on. And I never got it aligned. And then I noticed I really need to get the freaking shifter bushing for that cable, because like I missed third like twice. Not like driving hard, but like I think it's all the way in, and it's not, because I'm just hitting that dead spot that's in the slop on the cable. But otherwise the car is feeling awesome right now. I'm stoked on it, other than the alignment. But yeah, the car's feeling good. I wish I would have been recording, because I just did a pull getting off the freeway. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't see, because being on the right side of the car and the freeway exit that I took, you can't really see around the corner at all. So the truck ahead of me went, so I kind of just took his lead and cut a couple cars off. They were not like directly cut off, but it was close enough. But thankfully with the turbo, it's like just enough power. Like I still want a tad more, but it's at like right at the power level to where on these 200 treadwears, and they were hot, obviously from the drive home. So they just were like barely hanging on, but I was able to just like second gear, full boost, just throttle my way away from cars like it was absolutely nothing, no problem. So FedEx actually just dropped off a part for the Integra that I'll be getting to hopefully once I get some time. But the FedEx guy was actually cool. He'd recently heard of me because somebody sent him my way on Instagram for welding, and he had forgot. And then he just noticed the S2000 in the driveway and was stopping to give me my package. And he was just talking to me for a minute. Super cool guy. So shout out to you. I didn't catch your name, but yeah, small world type thing. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna wrap this video up here. It was a shorter day for me, thankfully. Now I get some time to rest. And yeah, we got some work done to the Integra. I know you guys love seeing it, and I do enjoy doing it. I just wish I had more money to put into it. I mean, if I had my way, we'd redo a lot of things on it, and if I just had a lot more patience with it, there's a lot of stuff I'd love to redo. But anyways, guys, thanks for hanging out with me on the channel. Again, look out for the SD Fab shirt merch drop here very shortly for a short amount of time. And do what you love, figure out the rest, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace out.